Hello, welcome to The Healing Artist. I'm your host, Freda, and friends, today we are doing a Frequency Friday episode. What does that mean? I am a semi-trans voice channel, and on Fridays we check in with my guidance, Elisabeth, and she's here to answer questions for the collective and sometimes for guests. I don't have a guest today. So, friends, something that's been circulating in my mind, I've been thinking a lot about lately, is forgiveness. Forgiving ourselves, forgiving others, collectively forgiving humanity, forgiving those that are wronging the planet and wronging the people. How do we come to forgiveness for large swaths of humanity when we can't even forgive ourselves? And something that I've worked very deeply with on my own healing journey is self-forgiveness. In my life, I watched myself abandon myself over and over again. I didn't choose me. I didn't think that I had the right to. And so in the reparenting therapy and the parts work that I did early on in my journey, it was sort of around reconnecting to myself, getting my inner child, my inner work lined up in a way where it was able to even trust. I could trust myself. I could trust me. And those aspects of myself that had shattered away during severe childhood trauma needed to feel safe to be able to speak their truth and then to be welcomed home. And it took time for them to believe me, for them to believe Big Freda, this version, that I was going to show up for them. So not only did they need to forgive me, but I needed to forgive me in a way where I was able to take responsibility for abandoning myself and then choose myself. Whew, lots of words, right? So today I wanted to just sort of drop in and ask Elisabeth, how can we learn to forgive ourselves? Maybe also introduce, if she wants to answer, how can we as a collective forgive mass atrocity? How can we make peace with and forgive things like the climate crisis, genocide? How does this work? How do we begin to forgive ourselves and then forgive others? All right, let's go ahead and drop in and see what she has to say. Frida, you ask about forgiveness, and this is a topic that is one of the great pillars of truths of humanity in the evolution of the planet. One of the great truths is that the world must come to a place, humanity must come to a place of forgiveness in order to raise human consciousness higher and higher and higher. For in the thing that you call the new earth, in the foretold future, which is a place where there is great deals of light available to the collective and people are able to live within a higher power being with themselves connected to the energy of the planet, connected to the energy of one another, and working in a cyclical nature with the earth, their bodies, and the planets above. This is a place that humanity is headed towards, not in your lifetime, but many, 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 many in the future. And simultaneously, this is something that we would say to you is on the horizon. We would say to you, the light wins. We would say to you, the future is quite bright. How do we get to the bright future? We learn to practice inner forgiveness. And then from that inner forgiveness, it turns into forgiveness for the collective, forgiveness for humanity. Let us begin at the beginning. When we cannot forgive ourselves, When the human is in the position of having self-doubt and self-destructive thoughts around them not being good enough to be part of the human race, when they find flaws within themselves based on judgment, based on exterior projections, based on programming, based on the environment in which they were raised, when they come up with these ways that they are blaming others and blaming themselves for their situation, for the victims, when they are living in victim consciousness, in victimhood, this is a place of not being able to fully embrace exactly what is. And exactly what is that all is made of love. The undercurrent of the universe is that the universe is made of love. You are made of love, for all of energy comes from this place of grand love. There is duality, however, in all things. So there is an energy of self-destruction, an energy of darkness, an energy of hate. These things are all part of the balance of love. For where there is love, there is also destruction and hate. One balances the other. There is duality because this is Earth, and on Earth there is a duality in all things. So one of the ways that this shows up is for you to not love yourself, for you to not take care of yourself, for you to have inner misery and suffering based on your delusions and illusions. Because who you are is actually just energy made of love. So we would tell you that when you are practicing your existence from this place of self-loathing, when you are not forgiving of yourself, you are unable to be forgiving of humanity. But when you fully sit in and face the shadow within yourself, when you are fully able to see everything inside of yourself, when you are fully able to be sitting in the seat of yourself in such a fashion where you are able to experience all of yourself exactly as it is, loving every aspect of yourself, the darkness and the light, there is nothing but forgiveness that can come from that, because it is all beautiful. There is a beauty in understanding and embracing one's humanity. There is a beauty in understanding and embracing the faults, the things that you would say are faults. For the mistakes are the growth. The things that you would call mistakes are the things that lead you towards your next steps. Now, when the mistakes come up, can you face them? Can you take your ownership and responsibility? Can you fully take and understand and fully take acceptance and responsibility for your side of the story, for your side of the misunderstanding, for your side of the inability to show up completely and totally in your wholeness at that time, based on other pattern wounding hanging out inside of your physical form? When you show up for yourself completely, when you embrace yourself entirely, when you are able to see yourself fully, there is nothing but self-compassion that can come, because that self-compassion is inevitable. For there is beauty and love in all things. There is beauty and love within the darkness. There is beauty and love within the light. For none of it in the realm of consciousness is good or bad. It all simply just is. So, you take your moral standing from a position of the way that you were raised, the programming in which was placed inside of you from your environment, from your lineage, from those you watched, from the media you absorbed. You understand, how am I to behave? And you take your set of actions and assign the proper reactions, what you think are the proper reactions, and then you operate as such. Are you willing to take responsibility for all of it? Are you willing to sit in the center of it so that it all becomes neutral? When it is all neutral, there is no judgment around any of it, and you can learn to love yourself and forgive all. For when you forgive all, you are able to forgive all of humanity. For all of humanity is operating, you will understand, compassionately from the wounds that they have placed on them. There is a level of operating. Some darkness will operate because there is light. There is always a duality on this planet. There is always the two. There is always the division. Can you choose the light? Can you choose love? Can you choose forgiveness? We are not saying that this is an easy thing to do. There is something about speaking the words. There is something about people saying, I forgive you, when they do not actually forgive you. They do not forgive themselves. They do not forgive the other. So there is a question here around, how do you come at life when you are unable to forgive yourself? Why is it easier to forgive another before you are able to forgive yourself? What wounding inside of you holds you to such an incredibly high standard that you must be perfect in all ways in order to be valuable, in order to be worthy of love? Again, it is a wounding program that you have come to earth with, and this is what we would ask you to heal through. Taking it to the light, taking it to love, the love of yourself, the love of humanity, the love of the world, taking it to your love of nature, the love of the earth. When people come to a tipping point of forgiveness, when they are able to forgive themselves for everything, when they are able to look at themselves and experience themselves fully, not holding one aspect higher or more righteous than another within oneself, this will be the tipping point of humanity, tipping them into the true new earth, the tipping point into the true new reality, which is a world based on love. As a human, it is easy to see only the materialistic aspects of all of the healing work. You heal in order to get. We would like you to stop thinking that way, and we would like you to think you heal in order to give. And to give is to give from a place so completely that it is not giving of the self, it is operating as a conduit of God, giving from God to others through the body. It is becoming this conduit in order to bring through the Spirit, to align with the Spirit, and then having the Spirit function through the body. To be so fully in alignment that Spirit just moves through. And to do so, there is much forgiveness and much clearing and much allowing, accepting, and honoring the form and the time that it takes to be a human on earth. For you do this over and over and over again, and you do not need to get it right this time around. Please do not think that you do not get a second chance. Humanity will have as many chances as they need until they get to achieve that which is love. And this is what we have for you today. All right, friends, I'm going to have to go back and listen to that one. While I was channeling, my mouth was moving and I wasn't really understanding what was coming out of my mouth. It seemed like a lot of gibberish this time around, so I'm going to have to go back and check that out. I've been thinking a lot about forgiveness lately because, of course, I'm in my mid-40s and I'm going to revisit the Holocaust. Why? I don't know. My husband's into birds. I have to get back into World War II. I've been interested in it ever since my young childhood. I think I saw Schindler's List when I was maybe around 11 years old. It had just come out, and it was something that was part of our zeitgeist. It seemed really important, and I exposed myself to it. It scared the ever-living hell out of me, and I slept in my parents' room on the floor for a week. It terrified me. I had a high school teacher when I was in high school, and a history teacher, and they were a camp survivor. And that was also extremely interesting to me, and we learned a lot about the Holocaust through the lens of what was done to the people. A lot of nightmares, a lot of scary stuff, because the visuals around it are just absolutely terrifying. When I was interested in the Holocaust as a very young double-digit girl. I won't even say we read Number the Stars when I was like even before Schindler's List, so I was a single digit possibly. Um, I asked my grandmother about it. I asked my grandmother, how can this happen? How could the people allow this to happen? And something she said to me was, we didn't know. So when the images came out, there was a wonderful movie called Lee that was recently released. I think it was last year, and it's about Lee Miller, who was over there taking the photographs of the camp survivors and like really getting in the camps, and we got to see in America what was actually happening on the ground. That horrific amount of cruelty. And my grandmother said we didn't know. And that always stuck with me. We do know. We do know, and like we are actively involved in committing genocide right now. We are starving people right now. um, y'all might remember we had separated, this is happening on an ongoing basis all the time, but we ourselves took little children, separated them from their families, and put them in internment camps in buildings in the United States in the last 8-10 years. This has been going on under our noses. We know it. So when my grandmother said we didn't know, well, we do now. We have an enslaved population in prison. Prisoners are a lot of free labor. Well, so are people that were in Nazi camps. A lot of that was about free labor. There is an evil wickedness that we can look back and see, and it happened very quickly. The Holocaust is a wonderfully unique moment, flash, ultimate horrors, fast, hot burning fire. But those aspects, that evil has never left. There are things coming to light now around the amount of human beings that are being trafficked in this world, the amount of human beings that don't actually have free will and that are being used against their will in so many ways, and their bodies are not their own, and they're being, again, it's like slavery. That is happening, and we do know it. So what do we do about it? How do we begin to take action? How do we forgive ourselves that we are part of a society? We pay taxes into something that is actively committing genocide. In America. America. Land of the free. LOL. So I look forward to listening back about forgiveness. And yeah, just thinking there is I have a great deal of compassion for people that do evil deeds. I have a great deal of compassion for all people. We are only able to show up and be within the level of consciousness that we are at. And we are each playing a role within a giant stage play game situation that is this life on Earth. What can we learn from it? I can feel into a future in which there is equity, inclusion, where people have more than enough and they have what they need in a way where they are cared for and loved. I can feel into that future. I sense it. It's there. We have the ability to do that. It's quite a long way off, and we love suffering. We love hardship. We love scarcity. Humans love scarcity. So the we have quite the road ahead of us. It's certainly not in this personal incarnation as Freda that I'm going to see the end result of any of that. And absolutely not. But I can feel that it is available. It is a choice. And that's fun. That's exciting. All of it is exciting. All of the unfolding. All of the learning to forgive. It doesn't mean that we have to condone each other's behavior. People can do terrible, wicked things to one another, and that is bad behavior. But I do genuinely believe that there is good, an aspect of good within all, even the deepest evils. So how can we learn to forgive? And I do believe that all of this starts with forgiveness of ourselves first. For when we forgive ourselves, truly, deeply, because all of us have aspects of the worstest atrocities of all. We are all part of this human race. That is all within us. We have the best, goodest good within us, and we have the worst, evilest evil within us. For some of you listening, I think that will resonate and will make sense. And from some of you, you may be just like unable to even just want to be like, fuck you. I don't think so. None of that lives within me. And that's okay if that's where you're at. It's okay. It's okay. It's a hard one. But the energy around it, ooh, Lordy Lou, nothing but compassion. Nothing but compassion. That's why it's so incredibly important that we look at who we are. It is so incredibly important that we understand and learn our history. Who are we? We are a people here in America that live on stolen land, and we committed atrocities to get it. Stuff they didn't teach us in school. It's important that we know that and work on knowing what we've taken, and then we have to do reparations and inner work around that. We are a country that is built on slave labor. How can we know that? Accept and honor within ourselves that is an aspect of who we are. Again, make reparations and be accountable that is an aspect of who we are. We steal. Americans steal. We're a bunch of screaming toddlers. We have been alive for 250 years. We've been very lucky. We're bullies. But that's luck. That's the roll of the dice. It's a roll of the dice based on our location, geographically. It's a roll of the dice based on just like sort of like we're lucky. Like we're a bunch of wild, wild wests. Well, chickens are coming home to roost. Time to pay the piper. We need to know and honor who we are. Because sitting in the center of that darkness, knowing what we've done, it was not very long ago that we locked up all the Japanese in internment camps. Come on, the Chinese built our railroads, sending people over the sides of mountains in little baskets, planting dynamite and blowing people up. Know yourself. It's important that we know our history. It's important that we know where we came from. Because to see all of it, That is all who we are. We are humans. We are capable of challenging things. And we are capable of unspeakable beauty. It's both. So, self-forgiveness within is going to lead to, in my opinion, forgiveness without. Are we willing to see ourselves fully? Yeah. Accountability, baby. It's the new black. It's the new little black dress, accountability in my world. Everybody's gotta have it. Gotta have it. All right, my loves, I'm gonna listen back. I love you. God, universe, source loves you. I hope you have a wonderful day.